As a former college athlete and as the father of 5 girls, I've encouraged my daughters to find a sport they enjoy and that they're good at. And if they feel comfortable doing so, I encourage them to enter competitions. 3 of my daughters have chosen archery, which is a sport that I enjoy as well. One of the things I love about archery is that it's one of the very, very few sports in which men and women, boys and girls, can compete on a completely equal footing. Girls can and routinely do beat the boys in archery. But most sports aren't like that. In most sports, at a competitive level, the greater size and strength of men gives them an undeniable advantage, which is why we have separate events for males and females. At least we used to. This past year, 2 athletes, both biological males, have been dominating female high school track events in Connecticut. One of the 2, Terry Miller by name, won the state open 200-meter title for the 2nd year in a row, plus the Class S titles in the 100 and 200, as well as the New England 200-meter championships. Credit goes to 3 female athletes from Connecticut who have defied social pressure and have filed a Title IX complaint. Good for them. And there are many more cases of biological men deciding to call themselves women and then dominating women's sports. Recently, transathlete Rachel McKinnon, who's also a college philosophy professor, won the gold medal in the women's event in the 2018 UCI World Masters Track Cycling Championship. And New Zealand weightlifter Laurel Hubbard dominated the Pacific Games in 2019. Female records are being shattered everywhere by biological males. This is a trend that the media, the LGBT lobby, and the ACLU all favor. Unless someone stands up and resists this movement, it will continue. It's important to remember, these trans athletes destroyed the dreams of female athletes who trained their whole lives for the honor of winning that championship, only to have it snatched away by a biological male. It's wrong and it's unfair. What's amazing to me is the deafening silence of the feminists who fought the good fight for women's sports in the 1960s and 70s. Now the women in those sports are seeing their dreams shattered. Martina Navratilova is one of the very few female athletes who've spoken out. But for the rest, political correctness demands that they remain silent. Somebody who's not afraid of political correctness has got to stand up for the biological women whose athletic dreams are being stolen. When I'm in the United States Senate, I will introduce legislation to deny Title IX funding to any institution that unfairly allows trans athletes to compete in women's sports. Let's put this madness in perspective. What we are learning is that the left's change in name from liberal to progressive is really pretty accurate. Liberals could have fixed values. Progressives can't. Progressives progress. Like the sharks of our imagination, they have to swim forward or they die. Let me give you an example. Here's Barack Obama in 2008.
I believe that marriage is the union between a man and a woman. Now, for me as a Christian, For me as a Christian, it's also a sacred union. God's in the mix.
Today, if a Democrat candidate said the exact same thing, he'd be booed off the stage and called a bigot. Now, human nature has not changed in the last 12 years. Marriage is still sacred. God is still very much in the mix. But progressives have progressed beyond the realm of common sense. That's why biological boys are now competing in sports against girls. We conservatives don't see the world the way progressives do. As the word conservative implies, conservatives conserve. There are certain fundamental truths and certain things about life that we want to strengthen and protect. To us, right and wrong do exist. To us, not everything, but many things were actually much better in the good old days. Our challenge as conservatives is to understand what is essential, what must be conserved, and to stand up and protect those things. Today, progressives dominate the Democratic Party, and they even have a footing in the Republican Party. It's time to take a stand for what's right and for what's fair. Let's face it, people who won't stand up for their own daughters aren't going to stand up for your rights either.